Today is a solstice. So for some of us, winter, for some of us, summer. And what it really is, and has always been, is a very specific alignment within the celestial body, within the cosmic body of cosmic Mother Nature. We live in this unbelievably vast cosmos that is filled with not only beings, but worlds and dimensions. And there's definitely so much going on. With so much going on, maybe it's good that we've been kind of focusing on this small life here on planet Earth. But definitely the opening is here, and the opening comes with that amazing alignment. This alignment has always been known, of course, to the ancients, but today, most people don't really pay attention to something like the solstice or some celestial alignments. But definitely today we had a big breakthrough, huge breakthrough. I know some of you had incredible dreams. It's really a reminder of who we are. And now it's just going to be an expansion about who we are. What has led to this? It's pretty incredible. We're looking at thousands of years of the world that we call the fourth world after Atlantis. And then we're looking at millions of years of a world that we would call Atlantis and Lemuria. And of course, billions of years of evolution of life on planet Earth. This really blows my mind, actually, what happened, because everything was building up to this moment. And we never know exactly how the energy will be, on a specific day. It always depends on how much life force humans are using in a certain way, positively or negatively, of course. Now, a few weeks ago, Divine Mother told us that we have achieved the tipping point. I don't know if you can remember it. For those of you who do these calls often, I'm sure that you remember. She said we have reached the tipping point, and she spoke about how now we have more goodness and more love and more of goodwill on planet Earth. Next thing she told us, and this was again a few days ago, really, she said ancient darkness left the Earth. Now this was huge because it came in stages. As you know, first, Divine Mother was asking the unethical beings to leave the Earth. They had an ultimatum. They had to leave by December 4th, right? She told them. I'm trying to recall all the different amazing things that led to this. Then the next thing you know, all ancient darkness left the Earth, not just these unethical beings, but it was something so incredible. And that just really happened yesterday and today. Like the fulfillment of it. So imagine if there was a theater play and you had all these actors playing very, kind of like a dark game of life, exploiting the earth, creating suffering and pain, enslaving everyone into these systems. But what is essential for this game, for this play, the theater play, is the backdrop. And I think that's what it's called, right? When you have like the backdrop behind the actors. And the backdrop would be the dark, distorted planetary grid that was holding the illusion within itself. And only because this dark planetary grid was in place on this planet, these actors, let's call them the actors of evil, were able to do what they were able to do. That's how we had the world that we had. But now the backdrop was completely dissolved. There is no more distorted planetary grid. Now, this really blows my mind because you all know the 33 codes. Maybe you have the 33 codes. The 33 codes, when they were given to us, they were given with this information about the planetary grid that I, as a person, as a human, had no idea about. Everything was revealed by these cosmic beings. They told me basically that because we have a distorted planetary grid, it's like cable TV that is constantly televising like a bad, distorted channel full of suffering, pain, limitations, money, greed, power, all of it, But they told me that once we have enough of these 33 code kind of technology books around the world, that we will experience the switch from the distorted planetary grid to the new ancient planetary grid. Now, I'm only repeating exactly what they said. This is how it's written in the book too. And it was all new to me. You can't even imagine. Suddenly it was like, wow, I can't believe I never knew. Maybe you knew, I didn't know. So this mission has actually been accomplished now. And today we no longer have this dark planetary grid, the backdrop that was holding this in place. Now we only have something left, and that is the humans who are not awake, that might want to keep playing the game as they have been used to for a really long time. But because the grid dissolved, there is nothing that can support their actions anymore. They lost their juice. Now this is absolutely amazing, because imagine now all they have is like what is it called? Like a house made of cards, where it's very fragile. Now, if one card falls and is removed, it all falls apart. Now, to put it into this big story that Divine Mother has been sharing with us, again, if you remember, to me, it always comes day by day, depending on what's happening on planet Earth. That's how she always shares this information. A while ago, we were doing some kind of event, and she started speaking about how she will be moving her own planetary network from from west to east. And with that, she will stretch this planetary network, and what is not flexible will snap. That's exactly what's going to happen now. She will stretch, and what is not flexible will snap. It is pretty amazing. I don't even know how this was even enabled on planet Earth, except for I remember when it was put in place, when suddenly there was that one day in ancient times when suddenly the planetary grid changed. And with that, we all fell into amnesia. All of us, everyone on this planet fell instantaneously into illusion, amnesia. And it was like falling asleep in that, queendom in Sleeping Beauty, and then dreaming and dreaming and dreaming until now. And now we will be waking up from this very long dream the same way that we fell asleep. It has everything to do with the planetary grid. All that I know, I know always from these different beings or Divine Mother. And so what they said is that they will use the same process. They will now switch on the ancient planetary grid. To me, this is happening through the different solar activities, galactic activities. And if you did the meditation with us this morning with Cobra, it was a great video Cobra had created that showed, how these amazing impulses will be coming from source, from central sun. It's just amazing. So when this impulse comes to the earth, it will jumpstart the earth. It will return the grid to how it should be originally, the original blueprint within which we suddenly have the perfection that we were unable to see. And we were trapped in the other grid, which was like a channel. The way that they show it to me is like really cables. So the grid is like cables, and there is just one TV channel, and we all see it. So we have consensual reality, but it's a consensual delusion. And now this delusion that we all knew, because it was pretty real, let's be honest. So it will just switch off like a channel, like a dream. We'll all suddenly be on a new channel. And that's why, as far as I was told, these 33 codes, which really have not much to do, with the human part of us, but it was really technology from these guardians of human evolution. They said that as these codes were shipped around the world, they were creating these new golden channels of energy and then creating these portals. So that will be really how this channel will just switch on, and suddenly we see this beautiful, what people call the new earth. The axis is very interesting of the earth, because also Divine Mother in 2020 revealed, this was really like, for me, it was always groundbreaking. Everything she said was like, I never knew. And so it was not something I was like thinking about or researching. It was just, she would appear and she would deliver an ancient knowledge every day in these big chunks. And one day she started speaking about the axis mundi. And again, if you've been listening to this stuff for a while, then you know I had no idea even what it meant, axis mundi. And then so I Googled, I was like, why is she talking about something axis mundi? And then I learned that it is the axis of the world within the earth that gave us access in the past to these higher dimensions. And it was an alignment between the earth and what they called heavens. And that's why Atlanteans then tried to bring heaven to earth. But Atlanteans already had some issues, obviously, so they were unable to do it. But now we will do it. So the alignment of the axis mundi within the earth is going to be exactly what gives us, and already actually has given us, access to this new earth. It's all very magical and powerful. So today we did our meditations, and after that we went for a walk. And I always communicate with the queendom that surrounds us, because every single tree has an answer for you. And it's good when you go on walks, and especially if you walk in like the same place often, to make friends with those trees and even ask them what their names are, and then ask questions every time you're there, or just go and say hello, hug the tree. But they always have a message. Every single day they have a message. And so today the message from my friends and our friends was that today we are being lifted up. As you know, if you work with Patricia and have worked with Patricia for a long time, the invocations always say, as I am lifted up, all life is lifted up with me. And the message today from all these friends was, today we are being lifted up, light like a feather. And just before we go into our today's alignment meditation, I wanted to say that if you are peeking into infinity and looking into the ethers of the earth, what's happening, what's changing, the earth became a star of freedom. The energy of the earth, and I posted that picture, but I'll show it here again. This is what the earth really looks like now. It's completely changed. The morning star is now within the earth, and we are being surrounded by this fifth dimensional structure of light blue energy. That's why a lot of people are seeing light blue orbs. It's all life force, pure life force. And there are 5 of them, and within the earth is the 5-pointed star. So pretty incredible stuff happening. We experienced amazing memories last night, and that is our I Am Presence that has been within us since August 2020, expanded our memory of who we are, and now it will just be a completely different world within us and around us. So that's a really big update, I think, for this amazing solstice.